All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour, where just days after the deadly bombings at the Kabul International Airport that resulted in the deaths of over 100 Afghans, the United States of America has now, interestingly, put out another warning. Remember, the Americans had put out a warning just hours before the first terror attack. They're now saying that there is a very high possibility that another terror attack could in fact strike the Kabul International Airport, whose security at this point of time is still under the control of the Americans. Now, US President Joe Biden has issued a statement where he has warned that the situation on the ground continues to be extremely dangerous, and a new attack on the Kabul International Airport is highly likely in the next 24 to 36 hours. The US Embassy in Kabul has repeatedly told the American citizens to leave areas around the main gates in recent days, enough due to a specific credible threat. The US State Department has also issued a security alert. It has asked its US citizens near the Kabul airport, including the South Gate, the new Ministry of the Interior, and also the gate near the Penshir petrol station, to leave the area immediately and also to avoid traveling to the airport at this point of time. Now remember, in a devastating suicide bomb attack, twin bombings that took place earlier this week, scores of Afghan civilians were killed, besides 13 other troops who also got massacred. The total death toll could be as high as 200 people. The attack, which was later claimed by the ISIS Khorasan, has come amidst America's panic-stricken withdrawal and a very hasty retreat from Afghanistan. The evacuation efforts from the Afghan capital continue despite the difficult situation in Kabul. They've now entered into the final stages. Remember, Americans will be out of the country by the 31st of this month. And this, of course, was a promise that Joe Biden had made earlier. And also another promise that Joe Biden had made was to hunt down the perpetrators of the attack and to make them pay. And the Americans, of course, resorted to the classic American thing of doing, which is launch missile strikes, which is what they did on the Nangarhar province. And there was an unmanned airstrike that took place in Afghanistan that resulted in the deaths of two high-profile ISIS Khorasan targets and has left another one wounded. The targets, who are said to be some logistical experts for the jihadist group, are believed to have been key planners for the 26th of August attack on the Kabul airport. The US Central Command has said that no civilians were killed as collateral in this airstrike by the Americans. But despite the Americans having carried out the airstrike in the Nangarhar province, there is still a terror threat that looms over the Kabul International Airport, which is flocked by thousands of Afghans who are still trying to flee from the country. The Taliban has meanwhile sealed off roads leading to the airport, and what is interesting is that it is the Haqqani network that is now in charge of the security of the roads leading up to the Kabul International Airport. They're only letting sanctioned buses pass. The Taliban claim to have already moved into parts of the military side of the Kabul airport as well, but the Pentagon at this point of time has repeatedly stressed that it is the American forces who still retain control of the gates and the airlift operations. Taliban is poised to take over when the last US plane leaves. Discussions have begun on resuming normal flight operations. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.